Hey everybody, welcome. We're gonna jump into a Theros Beyond Death best of one draft. We don't have the gold for it right now, and actually we're not gonna have the gold for it for a while. This account is free to play, but it has so many resources from the way we play, from our success rate and our how often we actually draft on the account, which is like once a day. We've pushed it over 30k in gems, which means we just have more resources than we need for actually the limited we want to play. So this account is actually going to splurge and start buying the cool Theros basics, the kind of Pokemon style big mana symbol Theros basics. And I think they're very sweet. I like bling like that. And it's cool that our account has been successful enough in its free-to-play endeavors that we can actually use some of our free-to-play resources on bling, because why not? We have so much resources for play, we can do whatever we want on the play front right now. So that's where we're at with this account. That's pretty exciting. If you're looking for some bling for your paper game, though, you know where to get it, right? cardkingdom.com. You go to the panels down below and you get there from my affiliate link, which lets them know you got there from here. And man, if you want to bling out anything you're doing in paper, Card Kingdom is going to have you covered. As Marshall has mentioned on Limited Resources, I maintain a vintage cube, and I do a lot of selling for credit. A lot of the transactions I do with Card Kingdom myself are I look at cards that I have in which their buy prices are so close to the sell price. Their buy price is so close to the lowest sell price on TCG Player that I might as well just sell my card to Card Kingdom. But then I get the 30% store credit bonus, and then when a new set comes out and there's some sweet new cards in like Theros or whatever that I want to put into the vintage cube, I have credit with Card Kingdom, and I basically feel like I get upgrades to my vintage cube for no actual dollars out of my wallet. It's truly how I make use of Card Kingdom's incredible buy list prices and incredible inventory to maintain my favorite pet project of Magic, which is my vintage cube. So if you want to get some stuff for your cube, for your commander deck, for your standard deck, for your whatever format deck, in whether you're blinging it or just getting the plain old paper, check out cardkingdom.com, and they are going to take care of you. Thank you, Card Kingdom, for all your support. Let's see what our pick one is. Ooh, we faced this a couple times so far, but have never had it ourselves. Very strong. I mean, 1-3 for 3, obviously not, but you just you do this once. You play one aura after landing this, and you're super happy. So we're probably going to start here. Playable gems, indeed. But let's talk about the rest of the pack anyway. Bleepus and Final Death, a very appealing pair of black cards here. Warden could potentially wheel. I think we've seen this wheel, so maybe there's a red-green deck waiting for us. Annex I like a lot, but you need to be heavy red, and red maybe not the best in the format. But I've had success with Annex decks. For sure, you can go aggro in the format, and red's pretty good at that. Yeah, not just auras. Sorry, I meant enchantments, but you know what I mean. We're going to take easily take the playable gems, though. And speaking of non-aura enchantments, like we could take the Prophecy. That would set off the champ. We have a nice trio of green cards here. This has fallen off in almost everyone's estimation, especially on Arena, because of the Mogus's favor. One toughness creatures are very much in danger in the format. However, this one, at least, if they do get hit by the Mogus's favor, you can bring it back as a 5/2, which can survive that. So despite its weakness to the initial favor problem, this Chimera is very good. Training is just a generically good aura. You just need to make sure you find a slot to drop it that's safe. You don't want to get blown out with removal on the target for your training. Oh, that's just, it's like a 3-for-1 in a sense, because you're missing that card draw too. So be careful of that, but other than that, this is fine. But what are we doing here? Pilgrim, super strong. Probably would rather take the Pilgrim over Prophecy, or maybe even any of these green cards, because this sets up this card, and green-white is actually pretty solid in this format, and this is just straight card advantage. So I like the Pilgrim here. I'm going to take this. Here's another Warden and a Hydra's Growth. These are probably both likely to wheel. I'm just going to grab this Warbriar's Blessing, right? What a pair. think we can stack. It looks like you can stack this so that we'll have to remember that, like, let's say we only have a Setessan champion out and we draw our Warbriar. We can kill a 2 toughness creature by stacking the triggers, right? Revoke is nice, but yeah, we're going to take Blessing pretty easy. Here's another Blessing we could grab. This is great in the Auras deck. The Archon gets any enchantment when it dies. This is a pretty strong top end for a white deck in the format. We also do have this Chimera. And as Marshall and Luis pointed out, Hero is actually a pretty important card in the aggro decks, in the aggro white decks. So if we wanted to get more aggro with it, we could take Hero. I think we would try and wheel that, honestly. Let's pull this, though. I think it comes down to the Archon and Chimera, which is the green Chimera. I gotta make sure there's no other competing Chimeras, and Blessing for the white Blessing, and there's no other competing Blessings, right? I think those are the real picks here. I think if you like Hero, that's great, but we would try and wheel that or pick them up later. Where am I at? I guess I'm at the Archon. I think it's just good enough. We just don't want many 6-drops, but I think I'm in on Archon. Hopefully we wheel one. Any of these other 3 green-white cards would be wonderful to wheel if they came back. But yeah, it looks like chat's with me on the Archon. Dreadful Apathy, 5th pick, fantastic. We're going to snap that right up and feel like we're in a great spot. If Transcendent Envoy somehow manages to wheel, or even the Sentinel's Eyes, I will give a literal fist pump. But great to see these all here, because it means we're probably in the right place. This is a great like we were falling into white naturally, and then to see this pick 5 is a great signal for us. And a lot of options here, but given the aura angle we have going here, I kind of like the training over Surge or Omen. I think it just fits right in with what we're doing. And here, we've talked about how difficult this card is to actually get working. It's got a lot of setup to before it creates any value for you beyond being a 2/3 enchantment creature for 3. But this looks like we're headed towards a place where we need to keep out. I mean, right now we don't even have anything to get back, right? Like the thing it gets back is 2 CMC or fewer or less creatures. So that becomes a priority. But I think we take this here and actually try and make this work. I'm excited to actually have a situation where this could be a decent card. We're going to take this enchantment creature 5 over this 5. It's another swingy card, frankly, in the format. It is so brutal to play this out and get it destroyed by a 1 or 2 mana spell, but it is also incredibly powerful to play this out and suddenly realize that you have, oh my goodness, I have 27 points of trample on this board. I didn't, and then suddenly you're winning, right? So we'll take it, but it's got its pluses and minuses as a 5 mana 5/3 enchantment creature. And we could take another one, but I'm going to take First Pursuit. Even though this isn't a great Pursuit deck, we're still going to take the First Pursuit over the Forerunner. It's still mostly a divination. Flicker has some uses for us. We could take a generic Courser, but that double white feels off to me given where we're at with the champion and hopefully some early green. So we're going to take Flicker here. But we understand that when you're doing the aura thing, suddenly you're filling up a lot of your deck's non-creature slots with auras, and Flicker can find itself on the bench because of room problems and ratio problems, not because of power level problems. We are best of 1. We could take a Plummet, and I don't think we're main decking a Plummet, but if we're short on removal, maybe we do. We can take Alter to hedge on the splash. I think I'm gonna take Alter to hedge on the splash over a Plummet. I'm not sure if I want a main deck in most circumstances. This is also whatever. Here's a plummet to take. We could take the familiar as well, but I mean, this wears auras just fine. That's kind of even seems like part of its job, but it's still underwhelming. And we are pretty deep at 3. So we're not going to take another 3. We want some, well, this is a 3 we would take. We also have a Warbriar. Is this splashable? Yeah, this is pretty splashable, right? We should take this. Twice X to target creature or planeswalker. I mean, it doesn't take out players, but it's pretty powerful removal. Although, man, yesterday was a nice lesson in splashing, in how dangerous it is. Like, we basically got very little value. It was pretty representative of a splash, right? Like, yesterday we had this blue splash for the uncommon chimera that bounces enchantments, and it messed up our mana in some games, and then there was one game that we totally won because we had a Chimera bouncing stuff, although I think that was in another event. Anyway, it was still a splash. Like, basically, splashing Chimera was just a game-winning move in one game, and then it really made things difficult in a bunch of other games. It's just classic. Like, the cost of splashing is real. And there's 2 good Odd and Color cards. We have Nyx Herald and Warbriar Blessing. However, this is also collection building and potential gems. So I think if this were an uncommon, if there's for an uncommon, I'm absolutely taking one of these 2. And then it's a really tough question. Like, forget intervention for a sec. What do y'all think of Blessing versus Nyx Herald? I mean, they're both on point for what we're trying to do. I think I would take Blessing number 2. Although another thing about green-white is Blessing is at its least flexible. Like, yeah, you can take another Pilgrim as well, I suppose. And that kind of counts as another Blessing. I should have put that on the pile of consideration. Anyway, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. And also, we would like, maybe we can wheel this Blessing. So I'm going to take the intervention, though, because we might play it and it's collection-building gems. But yeah, I think Nyx Herald, like, as I look through this, I think Nyx Herald or Pilgrim is actually the correct pick over Blessing in this case because of the creature need. But I am going to take potentially playable gems here, and then we'll see what comes along. Can't pass Banishing Light. Want this Destiny Spinner. I don't think we can pass this, can we? Oy. I'll pull this just in case, but I think it's got to be the removal, right? I mean, this is a great card. The other thing is it's an enchantment creature that works with our strategy and is a 2-drop 2/3. Like, this could not be more perfect in terms of what we're asking for, but this is so less replaceable. Oh, I want both of them so badly. But we are going to wheel this Grove Dancer almost certainly. So, all right. Just making sure. Y'all feel me, though, right? That was tough. Here is a nice... Lots of nice options versus playable gems. This is another tough gem spot because I actually think Repeal, Envoy, and Blessing are all a little bit maybe better, especially Envoy since it fits that creature spot, but it's playable gems. Yeah, we're going to take it. Also, this wears auras pretty well. A nice first strike. Totally playable gems. We're going to grab it. Not seeing anything I love here, but these are fine. You want to go with the eyes over the Omen since we're doing the aura thing? Hey, doggy, what's up? You actually came over. Oh, Rocket came as close to me as he usually comes in a situation where I'm standing at my desk. and he ran away. It's like he remembered. Oh yeah, you're at your desk. I'm out. Yeah, we don't have any escape things going on, and our 3s are pretty thick, so let's take the eyes. Hey, Envoy is a nice spot here. Great time to pick up an Envoy. Wowie! Look at that. Pilgrim? Yes, please. Deck is coming together now. And Hero of the Winds or Indomitable Will. Indomitable Will, double Pilgrim. This is a real card in this deck, but Hero... We don't have much. We have zero Hero at 4. There is another meme in progress, but it's not available yet. Yeah, I think Will is tempting, but we're going to take Hero as I look at this curve and our needs. And I like another Envoy here over possible splashing. And we're about to get our opening pick back in which we took Intervention, but the pack was pretty stacked with options for us. I'm really hoping we come up with something nice in pick 9 coming up. Ready? Here we go. You want to splash this? I don't... That's fair. This is a good deck for these two abilities, but you want me to pull it? I don't think we're actually doing either of these now that it... I don't think we're headed towards a splash here. I think we're going to be much happier with a lean, mean, white-green machine. This actually plays in this deck. All right, looks like we're out of playables here. And we, let's see, we get this at least. Well, what was I saying about splashing? Do we not want to splash? Do we just pivot to this? What are we giving up? Yeah, Dancer didn't wheel. How weird is that? God, maybe we are... Look at... We're mostly white. I mean, Plummet we're not really intending to main deck. Blessing is awesome. Pursuit is at its weakest here. Forerunner was kind of whatever anyway. Yeah, I think we're taking Trawler and abandoning green. And then, of course, look at this stacked green. Oh yeah, let's see what we have. We have 2 Deny the Divine. We actually have some. We have a Stern Dismissal. Glimpse we got on accident, but it's actually solid. I don't think we need Glimpse in a deck that has Dream Trawler, though. Glimpse is what you play when you want to make sure you have a way to win. But when you have Dream Trawler, that's covered. Yeah, Intervention is on color good rare, and we're going to take it. I'm just lamenting, like, there is just a lot of incredible green here. Another Pilgrim, but we got a staggering Insight, and we're in the, now we're in white-blue. Yes, please. Another Pilgrim. Okay, okay. 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 Jeez, deck. Just listen, bots. Omen? Naiad. What do you think? We might splash that champ, but let's clear things up a little here. I believe we are white-blue. We're not neither, Colin. I'm abandoning the green. We're gonna chase the dream. Yeah, we'll take Omen. Amulet could help with possible splash, or just help us find the double blue if we want to be heavy, heavy white and light blue. Sunmane is solid, but Witness for 1 more mana does enough more that I think we take the Witness. And Brine Giant, actually good here. We're playing a lot of enchantments, but removal is removal. And we can fetch it. We have 3 ways to get it. All right. Triton Rider can fit into this deck, I think. Not great, but I think playable here, maybe. Certainly is, I think, the pick, and then we'll see if it actually has a home. Wow, and look at... I thought the green was being cut. I thought we were smart to get out of green just because it felt like it wasn't flowing, but maybe it was just the packs, because this is 2 excellent green cards and a playable. True. But are we done with green? Yeah, I don't think we're doing anything but white, blue here. That's true. So I'm not going to take any of these, though. We're just going to grab... Well, we could take repeal. Didn't get any real, like... I guess we have... No, we have intervention, so we don't even need repeal. All right, right. Another rider, but I don't think we're going to play 2 is the thing. This seems nice to me. Starlit Mantle. Fits in with what we're doing. There's an altar that we could use to splash, but Mantle, I think, is a bit what we're up to. We need creatures. I don't think we want double blue creatures, though, unfortunately. Ah, Shoal. Okay, this is a curve pick, because this could really matter. We got 2 denies. That's helping fill out our 3s. We're not going to play this altar. Probably don't need the amulet. Yeah, we can take Shoal Kraken because we just don't have much going on, so might as well at the higher end beyond these 2. And where are we at? Okay, we got more creatures than I thought. That's good. We can cut our underwhelming creatures without too much worry. This kind of goes about there. We can cut the dismissal. See, this is where I end up cutting flickers because you run out of room for them. But we do have good tricks with it. Do we have anything to make this happen? We've got obstruction, 2 envoys, but that's and a wayfarer. So we have 3, 4, 5 total things that can even be brought back with this. Maybe. Yeah, that's true. We can also back off on aggro and just be a Dream Trawler deck, right? That we back off on the wayfarer and just look to go long and get to this friend of ours. Yeah, GRS, its floor is not bad as a 2/3 enchantment creature for 3. It's not, but 2/3 enchantment creature for 3 with no rules text is definitely below replacement. So now we don't need 2 Tritons. I like that. I'm not sure if we need the 1. So, and this is where I figured once we cut away the creatures we didn't love, we would be a little bit more careful with our selection here. Do we have too many pilgrims? Are we going to run out of targets? Let's see. We have, let's count our pilgrim targets. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 might actually be too many. That we might get all 5 of these out of the deck before we... But I guess at that point we're happy because it means we've probably used some pilgrims to... So... All right, call out your cuts. Let's do a poll on final cuts here. I think you could make an argument for maybe even one of the envoys. No, I think, yeah, probably Evangel or Hero before. Man, if this deck can't make Dawn Evangel work, can anything make it work? We just counted fighters. We have 5 targets for 3 pilgrims. And we were discussing whether that is an appropriate ratio or not. But I kind of feel like if we are in a spot where we say, darn it, we have our 3rd Heliod's Pilgrim and there's no targets for it, like, we should probably be happy because that means the game has gone really long and is giving us a chance to win with Dream Trawler. Yeah, one Deny the Divine could also go. Norbert is just like, why run this at all? It's to be triggered on your turn to make flying, and it's not really doing much. That's fair. Like I said when I cut the second that we might cut the first. Yeah, I'm not going to cut Omen, especially if we do keep the Rider. It's one of the ways we can flash this in and give this defensive flying. Oh, we have two. Yeah, we have Flicker that can also do that. If we keep Flicker, what's our other flash? We have another flash enchantment? Oh, Starlit Mantle, sure. So then let's see. I'm cutting the Dawn Evangel, and then I need one more cut. One more cut. Probably a spell. What's our worst spell? We're not cutting any of our auras. So you see, then we get Flicker or one of the denies. Not cutting our removal. Not cutting our Omen. Not cutting our enchantment hate. So yeah, this is how, I guess it's deny or Flicker. Let's cut one deny. And then we can try to have some fun with Flicker. And dreams come true. What is the minimum you will go with for creatures as a rule in this set? I don't have a rule, but I start to get uncomfortable anything below 13 in almost any format unless I can explain why it's not making me uncomfortable. You know, I can say, well, we have 5 spells that for 2 mana or less cycle. Therefore, having a low creature count is okay because we can cycle to those creatures through the card draw methods we have, you know, so it's going to be case by case, but in the abstract, I don't like being below 13 without a good reason that I can explain in the deck. Let's go. Trawler Staller, that'd be another name for this deck, but we could play one of those 4s. What will we cut over it? Like, I'm not going to start with one of these Sea Guards, but you could ask yourself what, you know, anybody who thinks I should put a. I don't have those yet, Timnos. We haven't bought any yet. We're going to slowly buy those, but you can choose something else. Give me some direction, and it's yours to choose, Timnos. Good with any, dealer's choice. I'll just pick some that grab me. I like the plateaued, the tiered steps here, or whatever you'd call them. So let's go with that. And all right, this is from the same set and looks pretty. We're gonna go Ixalan lands today. Cut an Envoy for a Pilgrim? We're running both, though. I guess we could get an Envoy for a Sea Guard. That might be a cut. I don't like cutting the Pilgrims because they actually just go find stuff, but there comes a point where the second Envoy isn't that great. So maybe we cut an Envoy and try one Sea Guard. If we're going to run 8 islands, we may as well. We can run a blue. We need it for this anyway. Yeah, exactly. You just want this on 3, right, Timnos? Okay, let's go with this. I like it. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm in the way. I should have been here for deck building. I'll give you one quick look, and then I'm going to jump back to Battlefield, though. thanks for hanging out. Great having you all here. We are trawling for wins yet again. Not the worst place to be. We'll keep this. No creature action, but we got removal all over the place, so we'll keep it. Maybe we can get a 2-for-1 out of this. Let's see if they represent some enchantment strategies here. Indeed, enchantment strategy. So they could do some things on turn 3 that would be pretty unfortunate. But even like, I think the worst thing they could do here is probably Commanding Presence, and we get to untap and undo their and 2-for-1 them. So even a Commanding Presence wouldn't be the end of the world here. Since we have action, I'm going to be looking... It's got to be pretty good for me not to bin it, because we're trying to find our trawler, so we really want to be aggressive with scrying to the bottom, unless it, you know, but not everything. I mean, if it's a great card that's going to help us stabilize this board, we'll keep it or whatever, but like, for these, for example, these two, these are both going away, even though they're both action. We don't even have a creature for this yet, and they've already got stuff down, so we need to be worrying about what they already have on the board, not holding this up. So despite preferring that, like, we'd put land down or something, that's not the worst. Although this is, yeah, we are struggling to find creatures here. Do we need to fishify something? This guy's going to get a little out of hand and cannot be intervened upon, so I'm going to banish the hero. And I don't want to ban it. I don't want to icky the hero because it still attacks for 1. I'm gonna banish the hero, and we'll save Fishify for something bigger up the food chain, perhaps. Oh, 1. That's true. Sorry, I was thinking that was 1/1. My bad. And then, shoot, I was hoping with this they would play more auras. Like, I want to get a 2-for-1 here, but not today, it looks like. And I don't know if I can bring myself to fishify that. We could, you could flicker the banishing light onto the Pegasus. That would be silly, though. That's not enough value. We could flicker the Omen, and at least that draws a card. We're going to just pass now, though. This is an instant at least. If they give us a second target, we can go for the intervention. We also have sack this for Scry, so...
Some say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar.
There we go. Okay, so... I mean, we could wait. We could let that land, and I guess I will, in case they play another thing on it. Nah, they're not going to. But we might. But there's no difference, so might as well let it hit. Mike wanted me to fish the Pegasus last turn. Fair enough. Yeah, Blessing would have still worked, though, because the creature was an enchantment creature itself. If this had been a regular creature, then it would have been correct to... that we couldn't have used this anyway, so it doesn't matter. So if they have the Blessing, nothing about our sequencing would have changed that. We'll see if they do. They don't. Hooray. Although they didn't activate Pegasus, so maybe they've got something. Yeah, that's fair. If I had paid an extra, I could have targeted, so if they had the Blessing, and we would have at least gotten the Commanding Presence. Should have done that. That's what they were waiting for, though. And what are we going to do here? Well, we got a creature at long last. I'm going to go ahead and play it. That's pretty big. Ooh, but we can apathy it. Or we got a lot of tools now. I think just... I was thinking of all these things we could do. But I really just like apathy, exile, and attack. Drawing apathy kind of turned an interesting turn into much less interesting. They seem to have something in their hand, though. I wonder what that's about. Do you think they might flicker here? I'm going to attack, and I'm not going to exile because they may have a response to the exile. I'd rather leave the exile as a response. You don't want me to attack? Why not, GRS? Yeah, we could even try the apathy flicker trick. I don't know why I wouldn't attack. I think it's loose to not attack. We're at 11, exactly. We're at 11, and this is not attacking us. I mean, do you think... Are you people thinking we're racing a 5-6? Remember, it's not attack... Like, I don't know what you're... I mean, I think if you're looking... If you're seeing 20 to 11 on this board with this hand versus this, and your decision is to not attack, that seems really wrong to me and really too passive. I've been wrong about things before, so maybe somehow I'm wrong about that, but... Now, by not trying for the exile, they have sacrifice a creature or enchantment as part of the activation cost on Blood Aspirant. So if they want to sacrifice the Pegasus to Blood Aspirant, we can't stop that, but that's not what we're worried about. The reason we didn't flicker, or the reason we didn't exile, is because the exile is an effect, not a cost. In this case, the sacrifice is a cost. In this case, the exile is an effect. So if we went to go for the effect of exile, they could respond by flickering their Sunmane. Whereas if they go to flicker the Sunmane, we can respond by exiling the Pegasus. So that's just to explain why we would give them a window to use the Aspirant on this thing. We can't go shields down on mana, though. We need to represent the ability to exile the Pegasus at any time. So we can't go below 3 in the fate if what we're doing is playing around their flicker. But we can, if we want to do it on 6, spend 3, and then if they respond to the flicker, we can spend 3 again. So sure, we have those things, but I like taking a cleaner line if possible. Like now we can go for it, and then if it doesn't work, I mean, if they respond, we have the other activation. If they don't, we have 3 mana to spend. So I'm going to go for it now so that we understand the lay of our land a little better. Who's the man? Maybe it's Oppo because they have another another flicker. That would be great. I would just tip the cap there. Yeah, I think you're being a little overly conservative, but I feel your point, GRS, that if you're feeling like The problem is not life totals, the problem is not losing before our deck just takes over. Then you can justify being extra conservative. Now we can fishify the Pegasus. Actually, I'll Staggering Insight first, and then we can fishify after. Let's see if they want to do anything about a block. Thing is, we could fishify and guarantee the card draw, but we can give them a chance to just... Because I would take a card from our top of our library or a dead Pegasus, either one. So we'll let Oppo choose. Yeah, I think probably dead Pegasus is a better card for us than drawing a random off the top of the library. So I did like giving them a chance to block. It would have been our preference. And now we have a Fishify with Mantle. That's cool. Yeah, you could argue that we didn't need to bother fishifying the Pegasus if we were ahead on the race, and certainly Insight giving us that lifelink does that. Like, we might rather have a hero. Of course, we can, if we are desperate, we can flicker the fishify onto something else if need be. Well, the Banishing Light is here, so... Oh, you mean the... Sorry, I was mixing up conversations in chat. I hear you, GRS. Yeah, let's just show this and make him scoop. That's what I would do, Oppo. No shame there. Hey, we had that one without the Dream Trawler. Looks great. Eidolon of Obstruction with Sentinel's Eyes is going to be quite a beast on 3. Or we could play a Pilgrim, we'll see. If we draw a Plains, we'll definitely go Envoy Sentinel's Eyes. If we don't draw a Plains, we can decide. No Plains, but we did find an Omen, so we can still use all our mana, so I will Sentinel's Eyes. And that adds the same amount of power even. Like, this adds 1 power of haste. These add 1 power of not haste, so this is even the most damage to boot. Yeah, Liar's a great counter to Trawler. Liar is your limited answer to that card for sure. That, or just being so far ahead on board by the time the Trawler arrives that you can still win. I've done that once. Oh, I didn't need to do that. I forgot it had flash, honestly. But we'll take Plains and bottom the island. Call it an F6 play. Let's Let's go Pilgrim here. And what do we want? Removal. We have some removal. I think we want staggering for the birdie. One or the other. All right, well, they're going to get our Fishify, but we'll drop Envoy and put the Insight on it at least. Now, if they can, normally I would try and wait and play this on a turn where I could connect, and therefore we would get our card. But the Nightmare calls our situation here, forces our hand, is what I meant to say, mixing my metaphors, but Nightmare forces our hand, and we have to play this early. Yeah, let's go ahead and, yeah, we'll do that. I was thinking the escape cost on that was more expensive than it is, but definitely gonna protect it against Grasp, sure. Eyes, yeah, also this would exile it by chapter 3 anyway, so it's definitely good to get it back on. Now, please survive, Envoy. They have 5 mana and final. Yeah, actually, this makes me sad. Like, the fact that they have 5 cards, 5 mana, and passed means we are not going to connect with a Transcendent Envoy. It means Oppo has Final Death, and we should prepare ourselves for a dead Envoy, but be happy that we get to play an Archon afterwards. I mean, if they don't have Final Death here, I'll be shocked and thrilled, but you prepare yourself. Oh, shocked and thrilled. I'm stunned. Like, this is just, I would say 75 to 85+% of the time that you see this going on, they're just gonna tag you with the removal spell. Well, maybe they have a counter spell or whatever, but we're gonna certainly go for the Archon. I'm gonna put an upkeep stop for the Omen Scry. I mean, that's the result I prefer. Counter the 4/4, but leave me my 3/4 lifelink card drawing flyer. If this Envoy survives for a couple more turns, I don't know how we lose. I guess Oppo drawing a bunch of cards too is a good start. And they pitched Omen. Interesting. Looks like no targets for it, so they're like, all right, not what we need right now. If they have Grasp, they would probably play it on the Envoy anyway because it would stop it from dealing damage and drawing cards. Treacherous Blessing has been a controversial card in a couple of my decks, and now it will be a controversial card in Oppo's deck. But with 7 cards, let's see if they successfully use this to find an answer. I would love to find a Starlit Mantle. Starlit Mantle would be an incredible card for us to have access to. And then our Envoy would... That seems new, that activated ability thing. Protect the Envoy here is the game plan. Deny the Divine. Probably worth keeping on top, even though it is not Trawler or explicit protection. I mean, there's a lot of, like, again, the final death gets around this, but they have no board right now, and this will probably pick off a pretty good thing. So we're gonna keep that as action for the upcoming turn. Yeah, Myers Grasp, at least it counters, but honestly, if they found removal, it probably gets around this. However, we can't play the Envoy now, or we won't be able to play the Divine. Exactly. There's plenty of good things we can counter. It just doesn't counter the thing we're most afraid of, which is a hard removal spell that's not an enchantment. Or something like a Liar. Boo. This card is great, and now we're up against it. And our trawler isn't even an out. Although if they start holding down the trawler, the envoy gets in at least. So certainly finding a second great creature would do some work. Do we have answers to Liar? This is not an enchantment. What do you mean, answers, Deacon? Vanishing Light, thank you. I just didn't remember. So, and that's still in the deck, right? We didn't use it yet. All right, so that's our plan. I don't think Intervention doesn't do it, though. That's what I was thinking of. Heliod's Intervention, I think, is enchantments only, but let me check. Oh, no, it is. I don't read cards around here. Thank goodness for chat. Chat's brilliant. I was thinking the theme of Heliod's was very enchantment-based. Do we even care about that? I'm going to let that resolve. I don't think it's the thing we care about. It can fly, but it needs to be at instant speed, and in that case we do have the deny to deny them an instant speed flight. And this doesn't die. You know, if we had something that if it leapt up it could eat, that would be a concern, but this can't eat anything we're doing, and I'm just going to throw out another envoy, and we'll put him on a 4-turn clock. And yeah, I like saving lands now. All right, they denied that. But unless they do something to remove their blessing, they only have 5 or 6 more spells they can cast, assuming Hero connects a couple more times. Although, if the Trawler comes, what's going to happen is they're going to use the Liar on it, and we're going to let it happen. So actually, like, we're not actually going to discard anything to the Trawler on this particular board. And here's where we're going to deny, because it actually stops us from attacking. Well, so much for the, well, that's not a big life chunk, actually. I saw Gary and kind of my heart sank, but actually this is not the worst spot for us to be facing a Gary. And again, this is now punishing Oppo, but they would probably be just straight up out of this game if they hadn't cast it. But now they may be losing because of it. I think it's a very interesting card. The fact that I still don't exactly understand its power level. I don't see a reason to block here. I guess we could call the Gray Merchant bluff. We could block Gary, and then they're using a card from hand. We're trading for a spell in hand. But the thing is, we're winning this race so handily at the moment that I'm going to take 5 here and see if there's a clean attack from the Wave Rider back the other way. Kraken's interesting. That's a good blocker down low. Nothing we do makes the Wave Rider fly here, though. So we're just going to attack with the Hero. Ooh, yeah, I like my Doom Foretold deck. I'm going to have to experiment with Treacherous Blessing in it, Bat Meme. Yeah, Resonator calls out that they did not opt to give one of their creatures indestructible. suggesting that they do have a trick here that they were hoping we would fall into, but I'm wondering what that is. Or is it a post-combat? Maybe they have a Mogus's favor or something that they were going to use on the Wave Rider after combat, maybe? I don't know. Or we're going to pass the turn here. Mantle, maybe Mantle. Well, if it's Mantle, we have a good block with the Kraken, so let's see how they attack. No, clearly not Mantle. And at least now we know their whole hand. They chose not to use the Lyre to tap anything here, or maybe they still will. Well, gotta say no blocks. Yeah, in enchantment we make a Wave Rider fly and then we just win. So come on, deck, give us one of the things we have 1,000,000 of. We have blocks? Where was our blocks? I didn't see blocks. We had a 3/3 against a 5/4 and a flying 3/3. Oh, yours. Never mind. I thought you were responding to that. Oh, that is not what we wanted to see. Not what we wanted to see. Suddenly closer than we wanted, and suddenly facing potential lethal. Let's see, if we attack here, they just tap this and win, so we actually can't attack now. If they don't do anything, we at least have the threat of Hero and Wave Rider double blocking the Berserker, and then that's a 1-for-1. But Lyre doing work. We have this game pretty handily if Oppo doesn't draw that Lyre exactly when they found it. Although, and then let's keep in mind, they found it, I believe, with Treacherous Blessing. So Blessing continues its controversial impact on matches of Magic. They're just outdrawing us like beasts. Can't win them all. I think we played that one fairly optimally, so... See, even though I lost, that was fine. That was a good game of Magic. Could have traded when, East. Could have traded what and when. No trades there. I'm not sure which point we're talking about. I can't remember when that happened, though. That's what I'm saying. I guess we'll keep this. No blue yet, and way too many planes. But I think this is better than a random 6. So we're going to keep it on the strength of Eidolon into Sentinels. It's a weird way to put it, Greg. I was not trembling in my boots at the sight of a Gary. I was making a reasoned game decision based on my thoughts on the best path to victory. There's no fear involved. Just strategy. What are they up to? Let's see. Could be, I bet, since I played this pre, it's probably the Will, Indomitable Will. Let's not fall for this. Mantle makes me wish we had some blue. Then we could put Sentinel's Eyes and hold up Mantle. If we Sentinel's Eyes here, we have a 3/2 first strike. And Indomitable Will adds 2 toughness, though, right? So it's going to put this still out of reach. That's kind of what I'm playing around right now. Let's go get something with the Pilgrim instead, then. And I guess we take Apathy. Not looking to use that on a hero, but I don't want to take a card I can't cast at this point. In either case, they had the fact that there was another possible trick to win combat there only adds to the reasons not to block. There's a hero. We could just do hero and pass. They seem to be... I think they're holding up that will. Well, it could be will or blessing. Why do you think blessing? What about... Is there something about their attacks that makes you pick one or the other? Maybe I'm missing a clue. No, the white blessing is a single mana combat trick. We're gonna go with the hero here. Just continue developing our board with creatures and then use this stuff after. Right. That's why I was thinking War Furnace, but maybe they wanted multiple threats to support their bluff. Hey, nice. We got an island. We got the Mantle. We can even play the Apathy and have the Mantle. Now I think I like Sentinel's Eyes up top, though. (3/5) Vigilance. Well, for this turn anyway. 2/5 Vigilance at resting, still pretty good. We can send in the Eidolon if they have the will and they go for tough. They can go 4 toughness on a bunch of stuff, but then we can go Starlit Mantle to win. So I am going to attack with Eidolon because the Starlit gives us a victory. And then as far as Pilgrim goes, well, the thing is we can't save it. If we attack with the Pilgrim and they go for the Indomitable Will play, they get to eat the Pilgrim. The question is, are we okay with them eating the Pilgrim? I suppose we could also go hero and pump it up again. Yeah, I'd trade the Pilgrim for a trick. So let's. But the thing is, the will isn't a trick. It's a. But we also have Deny the Divine. So if we really decided to, we could just counter their aura play to save. So we have a lot of reasons that we can just attack with everything here. And here we go. Yeah, this is where the Indomitable Will is going to come down. And so we can mantle. We can either mantle the Eidolon or deny the will. Let's just deny the... Yeah, I guess we could just deny the will. Because then we can maybe save our hero later. Alright, well, they're really working for it now, so... And it's still a trade. Ultimately, it worked out great for us. Mike's line is pretty good, too. Mike liked just mantling the hero to get the extra power around the board. And Mike's line would leave the mantle on the hero right now and still have a similar result. I think we're in a good spot, though. I see no need to apathy or banish the envoy. I'm in no hurry to omen here. I think we're in a great spot. We just need to be patient, control the important things, and dig when we have the chance. Let's see. Archon doesn't get anything yet, but we can sack this to at least get that back. We need another plains to even be able to cast it, though. And what we want is another island. I'm not going to keep a plains on top, which means maybe we just don't even keep the Archon on top. Although, I think it's fine. This is a good top end. It's not the trawler, but it's a fine top end, and I will accept casting it when we find land. Which may be right now. You know, I just can't keep a plains on top, though. And we could do Omen Scry, but I don't want to. We're just going to draw. All right, much better. There's our island. Yeah, Steven, we could, like, not play the Archon until we had something we were really happy with in the graveyard, but that feels something like fancy placement to me. I mean, they're white-red. They haven't done anything about this hero. I think if they have something for this Archon before we untap, it's because it's on top of their library right now, and that's a risk I'm willing to take. Right. People wanting to apathy so that we can get it back with a dead Archon, I get it. I'm just trying to apply pressure on what I think is a hand that can't handle this card without a draw. Because I really feel like anything they could have in their hand that could handle the Archon, they would have tried on the hero last turn. And they didn't. So my expectation is that to deal with the Archon, they need to top deck. That's a risk I'm willing to take, given that we can untap with Mantle at the ready. Yeah, you're right, Steven. They could have had Blessing and be like, well, can't kill anything. So that's definitely a possibility. That adds to the possible things they could have, but I don't think it changes our risk profile. Oh, I should have blocked there, though. I was too busy talking about stuff. I would, because of my feelings about their situation, I'd be happy to actually make that block. I just missed it. But now maybe they'll show me that, hey, look, I was accidentally correct. See, soul read, soul read, soul read, soul read, soul read. Steven likes the non-block. I was kind of like, I would trade this for a trick anyway, especially with our hand. And we get to go... like this, and let's apathy... Oh, what are you doing? Who called it? Very good. Still had to do it, though. I should have responded to that, because, like, who was it? Steven? Yeah, Steven had a great read there. That the way that... the fact that they did all this knowing about our apathy suggested Blessing, but it wouldn't have changed my play because Banishing Light we couldn't cast for cheaper. They use up we make them use up their Blessing to save it, and then we still have the light that they don't even know about, which is why they're doing the sequencing. They don't know we have a follow-up play. And we don't even need to necessarily chump. I mean, we'll see. Like, we can even take the 7 or whatever it's gonna, or 6 that it's gonna be. Like, that's no big deal. In fact, I'm gonna attack with these two. We might chump, though. We'll see. I mean, they're top decking. I think they probably stay back here, not aware that we have removal for the Envoy. Nah, they're like, we got this in the air. Yeah, I'm gonna let him have this. Nice, that's exciting, Demi. Why are we chumping? We're worried about, like, Red's ability to reach out and deal 5 or something? Oh, they must attack. Yeah, that's the thing. I think this is fine. Maybe more risky than I need to be. Now, let's see. We can do this and still have the Banishing Light and the Mantle. But we don't need to do that first. Do we 4, 5, 6, 7? Oh, we put this on the hero. Yeah, fine. I'll kill him. Had to make sure that worked first. Now we have lethal. Now that that thing is. Oh no, that was tapped anyway. Yep, we have lethal. Now we're gonna go for the win. They have to have some crazy top deck to not die here. Finding lethal. Chat is often better at it than I am. But boy, can I control a board. Hold on, I don't want to win yet. I can still control this board some more. Keepable. Some of our later, cards are in here. Flicker and Shoal were marginal playables in the deck overall, but they're fine. And we have Envoy, got some removal. Looks like we have Envoy into Deny on 3. Counterspells on the play, so much better than counterspells on the draw. Like if we were on the play, we'd have a 3-mana counterspell up for their turn 3. As it is, we're gonna have like a 3-mana. They're gonna have their turn 3 without our counter available, which is too bad. That looks familiar. Do we end up with one, or we just chose not to take it? I've not run this card yet. This is kind of the first time I've seen it. It's playable. But it's not good, right? It's below replacement. It's just not good enough on any axis to be to not be below replacement. But that's what makes it a nice artifact card. You kind of want your artifact designs a little bit below replacement, and then they're there to save people who, well, I don't have the perfect deck, but this will fit in and not be the worst, As it is, we're not gonna icky anything though, so we're gonna leave the Deny up. Mono red, question mark? It's another reason you might see this. If someone's figured out, made their way to mono, they might need to play some underwhelming artifact creatures. I'm gonna go ahead and deny it. It's not any kind of amazing creature, but smoke them while you got them. Use your mana, do something worthwhile. They did not attack Oriad into Transcendent Envoy when they had that attack option, so I'm going to go ahead and block here. So nothing much to do this turn. I'm going to stay back. I don't think we might turn the corner and actually be the one racing. Yeah, I'll trade 1 for 2 here because ostensibly we are going to become the aggressor in short order. And they might aura up one of these anyway, making us unable to block, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, I don't want to icky them, though. Icky and then remove the icky. If they go for an aura, we have Flicker, so we can do that. Maze Warden. Just a big dude. Again, they've not shown any tricks or ability to take a combat bounce and turn it into a combat win, so we're going to play the Kraken. Oh, this pumps, though, doesn't it? Yeah, Maze Warden pumps, but I guess we would take a trade there. Let's think about it. If they send in Final Death, that's good, though. Means our Archon is cleared for takeoff. We could even Apathy and do the Flicker trick, right? Not in the same... We'd have to untap for that. But they don't have any... They could suicide... If we Apathy the Maze Warden, they could suicide it before we could Flicker. But not if they play something, which they probably will. So let's Apathy the Maze Warden. And we could Fishify as well. And still have the Flicker. Let's... Now I want to play a more controlling game and work towards the Flicker trick and save the Fishify. So I'm going to keep the Envoy back to block one of these 1/3s. And now we even have a better target to Flicker the Apathy to. Oh, if they want... Oh, I thought they were going to use resources to kill the Envoy, and that was going to be pretty fine with me. Yeah, I'll show you the trick here coming up. But basically, you get to... It's pretty important in Magic whether something is a cost or effect. Because things before the colon on a Magic card effect are part of the cost, and those cannot be interfered with or responded to. If you pay the cost, if you have priority, you get to pay your costs without interference from Oppo, no matter what those costs are. But everything after the colon goes on the stack and can be responded to. So in this case, we can put the ability Exile Enchanted Creature on the stack, and then respond to that with Flicker of Fate on the Apathy. The Apathy flickers to something else, and then the Apathy still exiles the Enchanted Creature. So that's what we're going to do here. And yeah, you need to do full control to pull it off. But let's go for it. And had to use a timeout to make sure I do this right, but it'll be worth it. And we're going to throw this on the Celebrant, which we can then exile so that it doesn't get the 2 damage. And being in the controlling spot, I'm going to continue to block instead of trade 2 for 1. Yikes. Well, we got something to Fishify. Although we can play an Archon, and then if it dies, we can also Apathy it. That kind of, you know, what going... Ah, nice. It's a strong card in the format. Usually a 2 for 1 on ETB, because you just throw an escape creature into your yard. Let's drop in an Archon here. They only have 2 cards in the yard right now, so they need a couple more before they can get this back. And then it's a 3/3 that can pump 2 for 3, so it can basically become 5/7. You know, we'd have to trade. Does it? Yeah. No fishing the 4/4. Oh, we could have done that. I suppose we could have fishified the 4/4. I went with the creature. We can even take a hit from this, and it's okay. Again, we're kind of in the control mode here, and it did stop these. So we're taking 4, but we stopped this stuff and used our mana. What are they going for? Okay, they're gonna do it that way. Yeah, it does make it cheaper, but the mana cost isn't the issue about the Phoenix. It's the card exiling cost. Yeah, I did forget, but it's not going to matter too much. What matters is what kind of fuel they have to keep bringing it back. Well, definitely bringing the hero out. And are we fishifying the Lamia or the Phoenix? That's the question. Probably the Phoenix, and here's why. Phoenix becomes a fish, drops to the ground, and sits there on the battlefield. This attacks. We go ahead and block and trade. Well, we're going to get back... yeah, I'm going to fishify the Phoenix. I don't need that attack. It doesn't seem like a question to you? Why not? East. One of the factors we have to consider is that we can trade the Archon with the Lamia and bring back Apathy. Although now I don't have the Apathy in the yard for it. Maybe I will chump here so that I don't go to 2 against red. Yeah, that's fair. I'm now having to chump because I didn't activate. Whereas if I had just, because the only thing they're attacking with here is this, so instead of the hero, if I just activated this, I would be not having to chump. So I think I did make a mistake in my plays last turn, but I'm not going to compound it with a not block here. We don't want to go to 4 against red. Now let's watch this scry. Hopefully bottom, maybe? 1 top, 1 bottom. Not the best. And I'm just going to say, maybe we can draw something other than a plains, and then we'd be happy. I'm going to do this now. I guess that's fair. But we could have played Fishify to prevent this attack, and the Exile to prevent this attack. Right? I think it still would have worked. No, wait. No, I can't remember now. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to... Well, any target's a reasonable target. Like, I know it's not great, but it's still... We have to not die, and we might as well get value out of it. I hear you, but... If we disable the Lamia, we're just blocking the Phoenix with the... We're just blocking the Phoenix with the Archon. Right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. The reason I put this here is that this pumps. Like, if somehow the Archon could just blank the Phoenix, fantastic, but the Phoenix pumps. So if we don't take care of this, the Archon's eventually going to block the Phoenix anyway. And as it is, it has to block this, but... I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but it seems pretty similar to me. we could just bring the Envoy back if we thought that was better, but I don't think it is. We'll just apathy. Let's apathy. I mean, this flies, but this actually has an activated ability that if this game goes long could really affect things. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the good. Oh, sorry, I was confusing this with the other one, that the Fishify, that strips abilities, so it can still do that. So actually, I would rather have it on the familiar. The order of effects like that is determined by who the active player is, whose turn it is. Since if everything happens at the same time to two players, the active player puts their stuff on first, then the other player puts their stuff on second. Although I will be able to exile this, so even though it doesn't have the text, can't use its abilities, it certainly won't be able to use the abilities after I do this. All right, more planes. Sometimes you don't draw your tools. So we're going to take 5 here. All right, we're going to lose here. This deck's pretty darn good. It's not insane. We did pivot to blue for the strength of 1 card, so when that 1 card doesn't show up, it might be a little weaker than the green-white deck we could have ended up with. But we still made the right choice. Dream Trawler is so absurd, and the deck was actually pretty well set up for it at pack 3, pick 1 when we found it, and we only had to abandon some medium green at that point. Now, we then passed a bunch of excellent green as the rest of the pack 3 played out, but at the time we took it, it was pretty clear that the cost was pretty low to take a chance on one of the better cards in the format. Another place where we don't have early creatures, but I can't bring myself to mulligan this. We got each of our lands, we've got a Wave Rider at least on 4, and any land gives us something to interact with on 3. East calls this a sad mull. I call it a sad keep. One of my main heuristics is, do I have something to do on 3 with any land that I'm okay with? And the answer is yeah. No, we did not splash for the champ. Splashing did not feel correct. Now we have Omen to help us find that 3rd land. That's great. Well, it depends on how I'm doing that particular losing streak, red. But managing my emotions around Magic is largely around reminding myself of how fortunate I am for the worst thing to be happening to me at a given moment to be losing a game of Magic. You gotta step back and check your life a little bit. All right, we'll take both of these. Pilgrim is no trawler, and maybe we just want to go find more land, but Pilgrim will thin our deck, find a removal spell. It's like hard to pass effectively a removal spell, and one we're happy to play here. We could also just get Insight, another popular choice. We do have a quasi-flyer coming. And what else do we have in interaction? We don't have any other interaction, though. So I'm going to go ahead and be a grown-up and take the Apathy. Also, I knew I was going to draw the Insight, so no big deal. They could have... Let's do this. Let's see, what could they have that could really wreck us? If they have the 1/2. This could be a 4/4 out of the blue. If this becomes a 4/4 out of the blue and we make it a 2/3 and then a 3/4, it wins combat. So I don't like that. You want to crack the Omen? Like, what do you mean, Omen? You want to spend the turn scrying? I don't know about spending the turn scrying. Oh, Red Omen you're worried about. Yeah. Well, let's... I'm going to cast the... we could also just pass with Deny. Oh, but we have to discard, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Sentinel's Eyes. And then we can... Yeah, let's put them to the test, see if they got anything going here. If they block and do something, we have answers. We could flicker... No pauses. Okay, that's good to know, but I'm not going to play anything else here. We'll flicker as needed. Pilgrim is on ETB. So yes, we could flicker Pilgrim to get more auras, although we're running low. Now we're facing that spot where we may be out of great things to get with our Pilgrims. Great. That's imminently apathyable. We can still get our attack on. Yeah, we have Fishify left, but 1 Fishify and 2 Pilgrims, so really the risk of 3 Pilgrims, 5 targets is staring us in the face now. Flicker Omen. That's not a bad idea. They didn't do anything, and we could really use some more land here, so I'm going to go with Omen, Great God's suggestion, and Flicker the Omen. All right, we get 2 land drops, and I'm going to keep them both. We just want to build up some land here so that we have some flexibility to 2-spell it. Our card quality is fine. We could... I was thinking we would Apathy here, but with the land, maybe we just Wave Rider. Or Hero, even. Hero plus Insight next turn could be, with the Starlit Mantle backup, could win the game in and of itself. So actually I'm going to do that. A staggering Hero with Starlit Mantle is going to be pretty tough for Oppo to beat. Continuing to leave the hero back, no bluffs there. We could block and make, but then they would just activate until activate once, and then it's they get to eat our hero. So no blocks, no activations. I wonder if they're playing a 6 here. Yep, sure enough, Archon. And there's our Pilgrim, which we really want to get that final aura out of our deck, but I'm just going to go Apathy on the Archon and then Insight. Might lose our hero now because our shields down are on Mantle, but we did get our card out of it and we took care of their big threat, so... one of their big threats, I should say. Fishify incoming, though. We're going to get Pilgrim, Fishify, and take care of that Archon and piss Oppo off, I bet. Just the one flicker. They've had some pauses that worry me a little bit, but Maze Warden answers all questions about what the pause might be, so we have no info. Hold lands in case of trawler. I mean, we have plenty of cards in case of trawler, so I'm not too worried about that, and we're going to draw more here. Let's see. Don't want to offer them the Pilgrim because they do have a double block. Although I guess we trade the Pilgrim for the hero, and we get to move the Sentinel's Eyes. That's not bad for us. So actually, I'm going to attack with both. I'd take a trade here. At least I'm talking that through. One of my big leaks is that I'll see the good attack, the exciting attack, the draw a card attack, and forget to assess whether or not I have attacks elsewhere. And I've definitely missed some damage over my games over the years with that, so I'm trying to improve there. Bottom. Once again, leaving our hero exposed for a turn, but once again, for very good reasons. We got to eliminate an Archon of Sun's Grace from relevancy on the battlefield. East, you'd want to trade with the Flyer as opposed to the hero? I don't know, the hero lets do things like the Flyer suddenly manage to trade for ours or something. I don't know. Feels like this has a scarier potential consequence. Ferengi says, do you... Oh, sorry, I missed it. One top, one bottom. Do you ever think about it the other way around? If Appa went top, that means they got no value from the scry. I would rather them not find what they were looking for than have the happiness of knowing that they were going to draw something awesome anyway. Ha ha, you were going to kill me anyway. That doesn't seem like a great ha-ha moment, really. We can witness here, though, and have Starlit Mantle still available. I like that. And we are again at a similar situation, although now they have left the Warden back to block the Heliod's Pilgrim, so we're going to let that happen. We're going to send in our hero up top, see if they offer that Pegasus. And can I get a witness? Just nothing but liars and liars and liars. I don't know if they announced a bot update, but the one thing I would like to see from the bot updates is an increase in value of the liar. We see liar's wheel. That just shouldn't happen. No, I already had that one written down, Furnace. That's a known idea. We can stop it, but they're just gonna use the mantle. All right. Does get us another card. 4 damage. Well, they're not dead in 2 turns. They're just gonna reactivate that. Although there we go. Now we're gonna keep them quite busy. And still just the Flyers, though. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can't exile the Dreadful. I'll just play the Dream Trawler and try and make him scoop. It was considering the Archon as an alternative play, basically. But even though they have a good answer to the Trawler, by answering the Trawler, our other flyers get the job done. No, are you kidding? By playing the Trawler, I give them what every Magic player wants, a great excuse to tell other people about why you lost. Now Oppo gets to say, well, I lost a Trawler in round 3 or whatever, right? All right, made it to 50-50 at the very least. Always, that's my first pleasant milestone of a best of, best of 1, is making it to 50-50. A good format for cubing with only 2 people. Well, there's always just sealed, Mama. Sealed is fine. You can do Rochester drafting. You can look, Solomon. If you've never heard of Solomon drafting, look up Solomon draft. It's basically pile splitting. You can you flip up some number of cards and split the piles, and each side takes 1. You could probably, I have a thing called Rooster Draft that's my sealed deck, kind of a combination of draft and sealed that I can share. But basically, Rooster Draft doesn't translate to cubing perfectly, but you could kind of make it translate. Like one way to approach sealed, kind of a hybrid of sealed and draft for 2 players from a cube would be to shuffle up, randomize your cube, make piles of like 5 cards or something, like make for each player, make 6 times 3, make like 18 piles of 5, and then you could start drafting piles of 5. Like basically drafting chunks instead of drafting individual cards is one way to go. But let me find the Rooster instructions for you, Mama, and you can see what I mean about that, and you could kind of adapt that to cube. But honestly, you can just have fun with cube sealed, and I think that's great. If you go 4-player, then double-decker draft becomes interesting. That's where each player drafts 2 decks. No, I didn't do any discussions of Hasbro's earnings call. Let me keep playing though, Mama. Hit me up. I'll send you some info either after the event or off air that can lead you to some ideas for how to utilize a cube for 2. But simplest is just play some sealed. Sealed's fun. Intervention hasn't shown up in a while. We'll keep that. We'll keep this hand. We got both colors and a 2-drop. And some interaction if they dump enchantments out. One more land of any kind and we can stop for the game. I knew it. I was going to say, here goes the Trawler. You ready? Trawler down. It's all right. We don't need no stinking Trawler. Pretty rough, though, because that meant we were just a draw step away from drawing inevitability. We're going to have to actually earn this win. What a bummer. No, not in blue-white. We could destroy the binding if we didn't want to get them to get one of these back, but I don't think it's worth our intervention to stop them from turning this into one of these cards. Seems fine. They can have it. Crud box, they do, right? I wish Arena had a best of 3 matches format for draft like MTGO. Oh, you mean you just want it to be shorter? You want sorry, Oppo. I mean, if you just want the experience of best of 3 to be shorter, that's fine. I just want to make sure you understand that, are aware that there is best of 3 on the system. I'm just gonna go with Wave Rider here. They have a natural foil for it in the Wardens, but too bad that is not something we can get rid of with Intervention. So we need some of our hard removal right now. We're in deep, deep, deep trouble. Could trade for the Wave Rider. Given that this can fight the Wave Rider, maybe I should take some value while we have it. Oh yeah, I have the Banishing Light. What am I thinking of? So given that, actually, maybe we just keep the race going. Sorry, I just forgot I had this in hand. Streaming is hard. I was thinking about that last night, like how much worse I play because of streaming, but also how much better I play because chat is looking out for me. Like, there's definitely a balance there. I mean, I would have figured out my Banishing Light situation here, of course, but streaming is hard. I wasn't even looking at chat in that moment. They can't counter anything, so I'll wait on the Omen. Let's keep in mind they're also in green, so you know they could get rid of this Banishing Light pretty easily. They're going to get 1 counter out of the Hydra's growth. If we have to, we'll just fire this off next turn, but maybe we'll find something off our Omen that gives us something to do about this upcoming situation besides the Intervention. Well, a great Scry at the very least. And, oops. Do we want to scry again is the question. I'm going to say yes, because if we don't find something better than Intervention, we're definitely using the Intervention, and we have the mana to drop and Intervention for the growth. So I'm going to scry looking for something better, falling back on the Intervention plan if we don't. Yeah, Flicker, for example, would be a perfect find. Fishify, alternate example. Like, we can just Fishify. Then it becomes a 1-2. But that's fine. Let's use Fishify and keep staggering, too. Oh, Fishify doesn't work? Okay, then we'll just use the Intervention. We still want both of those, even if I'm not thinking of this right. Why doesn't Fishify work? Oh, it keeps getting counters, right. Yeah, we need to get rid of the Hydra. Very good call. All right, so Fishify doesn't get it done for us, so we're going to go with Plan A. And we have no attacks because they eat the Envoy or bounce the Wave Rider, and 3 damage isn't worth losing our Envoy over. Yeah, I guess if we attack first, yeah, I should have done that. I like it. Menudo's Day? Anyway, Menudo, I like Menudo's line. go ahead and attack if they do a bounce off. They probably won't. That's kind of, I think one of the reasons I miss those types of lines is because it represents Oppo blocking in ways I never ever would, but some Oppos do, so you should give them a chance to. We could end up getting, like, if we go Island, Witness, we could lose both of these, which would be awful. But Witness plus Insight does... Oh, it doesn't even get through there. Well, now we could Fishify. We'll Fishify next turn to get the Witness through, right? Or we could, yeah, we could also, if we are worried about potential discard, we could just Insight the Envoy now, go Fishify Insight and start drawing. Then we also split our power. Yeah, I'm changing. I like that. It gets us a card now. We are going to have to Fishify this thing anyway. And there's some risk. They have 7 mana and 2 cards, but I think this is safe. I can't fully explain it, but it feels like if they had removal, we had stuff they would have used it on already, but I might just be saying that to make myself feel better about casting this, you know. I can't point to the last turns and say, aha, here's the specific spot that proves to me that they must be top decking for removal, but that was my gut, so I just went with my gut. Yeah, it's not screaming Final Death to me because my sense of what has already happened, but maybe I'm wrong. Like, again, maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel better about this. Yeah, looks like it. All right. I was just lying to myself. Hopefully this Witness is enough, though, and the Scry is not bad. This is the main thing I want. We need the Banishing Light to stay. Oh, wow, they did have the Witness, or the Aspect. So we're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't there. And it looks like our reason for taking that aggressive line was sound. Thanks, deck. Really appreciate the sequencing you've given us. I don't know. You see snakes in her mouth? I just see a toothy mouth. Oh, on the hair? What am I looking at? Thanks, deck. Yeah, I've made some loose plays this event, but nothing that I feel like has definitively cost us a game. We're just getting a little bit unlucky this time around. Oppo going multiple Hydra's growth on us. No need to hold up lands, but there's literally nothing in our deck in which that makes these lands matter. Well, unfortunate way to go out. I mean, what's your suggestion for it? Here, I'm going to put on a full control bluff so they won't attack with this Marauder. Watch, it's going to work. Here comes. Ah! Crushed. GG, Oppo. All right, well, only 50-50 there, which is pretty disappointing when you have a dream trawler. But that's magic for you. You don't draw your dream trawler every time. And we got really unlucky and had this milled on like the second turn. Oh, hey, wait. Hey, look, this is new. I like this. Hey, wizards. Look at, we finished an event, but we still got to look at our deck in it. Hooray! Thanks, wizards. I like that. It was always frustrating that you took that away from us. No, that you couldn't, Timnos. That's definitely something and I would say they fixed it, because it used to be that you could. Then they did some stuff that made it not work, and then or maybe it was that you could click. The box was there and you could click on it and nothing happened, and so they took that away. Oh, now we can add it to our decks. Like, hey, maybe we can start doing this. You know, if somebody wants to go add one of their limited decks to their decks, I could battle viewers with our Dreams Come True deck. All right, well, it looks like we're gonna go back and work on the green-black deck instead of playing some more of this Dreams Come True deck. So I'm gonna say goodbye to YouTube friends, and we'll catch you the next draft. And certainly this green-black deck is building up some content that we will share soon. So hang tight for that, and see you YouTube. We'll claim this prize though. Maybe we have, let's see, what's our pack level? Nope, not opening packs yet. Just saying goodbye to YouTube. Catch you next time.